Welcome to Build Your Maverick Business, the podcast for underdog, outlier, and renegade entrepreneurs. If you dream of going off on your own and launching your rebel empire, but don't know where to start, you're in the right place. We'll teach you how to use mindset, branding, and practical advice to build a killer business and transform your world. And now, here's your host, Alex Pitt.
Hello everyone, welcome back. I might sound like I'm talking through gritted teeth right now because I cannot get over the reality of what is happening outside right now. There is no real rhyme or reason to the day of the week or the time of day that I record the episodes of this podcast. It just depends what I've got going on, depends how my week's going, depends what my calls look like, all that sort of thing. So it can be anything from late in the evening to crack of dawn on any day of the week, including weekends. And yet, somehow, every fucking time I go to do it, this one bloke with a leaf blower turns up. It's like he's watching me. It's like he's got a scope into my window and he just waits. He waits until I sit here and set all my stuff up, then comes running out with the bastard leaf blower. Anyway, I'm sure I'm imagining it. I'll get on with it. I've built a little cushion fort, so hopefully you won't be able to hear him. So I know that by the time this episode airs, it will have come and gone, but right now I'm in the thick of it with prep for Download Festival. It's that time of year again, and this year shit has gotten real. So we were there last year, and if any listeners are regulars at Download Festival, you will know that it tends to swing from drown load to drought load. That is, it's either scorching hot with no shade whatsoever, which is always really funny when you're just watching 100,000 pasty metalheads trying to navigate that, or it'll be as it was last year when the rain does not let up for a second, and every step towards any band, any food vendor, or any horrendous set of portaloos takes 20 times as long because you're wading through shin-deep mud. I'm not really selling this festival to anyone, am I? Anyway, this year I said to Joe, I need some more creature comforts, please, because I struggled last year, and I'd like to feel this time like I'm a bit more prepared. Just little things like a much bigger tent, a mini stove thingy so I can be caffeinated before we move very far from the tent, a proper waterproof so I don't end up soaked through by 9 a.m, and so forth. We moved. So that's my job for as soon as I finish this podcast today. I'm gonna do a big shop straight down to Decathlon. And the reason I bring up Download is because there's this mad buzz this year around this one particular band, a band that everyone is talking about, President. If you know, you know. If you don't, they pretty much just dropped onto the lineup in a pretty decent slot, and no one knew who the fuck they were. Literally just popped up out of nowhere. They had one song available to listen to. They're all wearing masks, so no one knows who they are. That one song is an absolute tune as well. No names, no faces, just this one big tune. A lot of mystery surrounding it. And it's got me thinking back to a conversation that we were having the other day about what Slipknot and the Sugababes have in common. Once again, I swear I've got a point about business when I'm talking about all this shit. I swear I do. Because what is the one big thing that Slipknot and the Sugababes have in common? Over the years, the lineups have changed phenomenally. Very easy with Slipknot because no one really knows who they are. With the Sugababes, everyone knows their faces, everyone can see them in the videos, and they still switch the members out like they're going out of fashion. I remember watching an episode of Nevermind the Buzzcocks once, where Simon Amstell made the point that he had a few Sugababes dolls, official branded merchandise, and just chucked a massive pile of Barbies across the desk, as if to make the point, hey look, there's 30 fucking members switched in and out, and yet the band remains, the Sugababes remain. Same with Slipknot. The point that I'm making with this, Slipknot change their members all the time. They change their masks all the time. They make loads of new music. What's the constant? The band Slipknot. The Sugababes have changed their members about 50,000 times. There must be about 50 people in the alumni now. Someone's nan could have been switched in and out. I wouldn't have noticed. What's the constant? The Sugababes. You can swap the faces. You can switch the lineup. You can burn the whole bloody thing down and rebuild. But if the brand is solid, people remember it and they follow it. They can throw their necks out headbanging to it. So today, the point that I want to make is that your brand is the only constant in your business. got there in the end, didn't we? Not your stuff, not your product, not your website. The brand is the heartbeat. It's the thing that people connect to when everything else is ever changing. So with Slipknot and the Sugababes, you've got two completely different sounds. One is chaos and carnage, founded in Iowa. The other's British pop. I don't know, inoffensive British pop, I would describe it as. Both bands have had members come and go many times throughout the years. But yet, when you hear the name, you still know what the sound is. You still know what the music is. You still know who we're talking about. Because it's not about the individual members. It's about that container, that feeling, the promise of what's to come. So the business takeaway, I'm not done yet. I'm just trying to make sure you realise that I have a point here. You don't need to stay the same to be consistent. Your people will evolve, your offer will evolve, but your brand is the anchor that holds it all together. If I haven't sold you on this yet, partly because you and I don't have the same taste in music, maybe. It is a bit of a stretch between the two bands. I do have some more examples up my sleeve. Because the thing is, if you look around at the brands that people are loyal to, the offer shifts, the team will change, the platform evolves, but that brand keeps pulling people back in. So a great example of this is Dyson. And I was about to say Dyson Hoovers. Vacuum cleaners. That's what they were known for originally, right? I was chatting to one of my friends in the pub the other day and she said to me, bear in mind that there's a decade between us. There's a decade age gap between us. And she said, oh, I really want to get myself a new Dyson. My mind immediately went to vacuum cleaner because I'm in my 30s. She was talking about an air wrap because she's in her 20s. They started with vacuum cleaners, then they did fans, then hair dryers. Now that air wrap thingy that everyone really wants. Everything's expensive as fuck. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. No, the point is that the products are completely different. The brand is the same. That high tech, high design, high performance. It's not about what they're making. It's about how people think and feel about them. So you can keep inventing wild new shit as long as your brand promise stays the same. Even though when we were talking about Dyson, I went to vacuum cleaner and she went to air wrap, we were still thinking that this was cutting edge technology that you would probably need to sell a kidney to own. An obvious example, Apple. I feel like they come up in every single story told about brand ever. But Apple started with computers, right? Then they had iPods. They delved into music. I remember when the iPad was first advertised and I was like, what the ever-loving fuck is that in this man's hand? Then they were doing phones. Surely that's not going to catch on, I thought. Suddenly, I've gone God knows how long without using any phone other than an iPhone. God knows what Apple are going to do next. But I still feel the same way about Apple as I did when they first started releasing computers. It was always about innovation. It was always about that sleek design. And I suppose the key point is giving you stuff you didn't know you needed. They could start selling smart kettles tomorrow and people would still camp outside the shops. They would still queue around the block because it's Apple. That brand is trusted and it's clear and people will follow it wherever it takes them, even into completely new territory. Last example is Netflix. I remember when I first heard about Netflix and it was my brother telling me that he was going to order a DVD from the internet. What? We still had a Blockbuster down the road at the time, so this was pure innovation and technology. Now they're the biggest streaming giant going. I went on there the other day and they're doing video games. That's a new one. Downloaded one. Love it. Again, things I didn't know I needed. But the brand is still the same. It's that bingeable, culture shaping, I would say, entertainment on demand. Even when that format changes, the feeling still stays. Comfort, on demand entertainment. The forefront of what all of your mates and everyone at work is watching. And I guess consuming, it's not even just watching anymore. So that method of delivery can shift 100 times. But if your audience knows that feeling they're going to get from you, then they're going to consume whatever you throw their way. Now, you know that I love a metaphor on this podcast. I love it. I love describing anything about business other than just telling you what it is. The more ridiculous, the better. So think of it like this. Imagine your business is a castle. I swear I'm nearly done. Imagine it's a castle. Okay, so over time, you're going to redecorate. You'll change the do castles have curtains? Yeah, sure, you'll change the curtains. Maybe you'll knock down a wall or two. You'll get a new chef, hire a new moat guy, whatever. But the actual castle, the spirit of the place stays the same. Your flag's still flying, the vibe's still strong. People recognise it on the horizon from miles away. That is your brand. That's the story that people tell about you when you're not in the room. And if you're not telling that story on purpose, you're missing a trick, loves. Your business is ever changing. People are going to leave, offers are going to shift. Maybe you just burn it all down and start again. So if your brand isn't solid, if it doesn't mean something to someone, you're going to lose your people in that shuffle. They don't know what they're following anymore. On the flip side, if your brand is clear, if your message and your mission are anchored in the fucking ground, you could burn it all down and they'd still show up for the next thing, because they're not just buying a product, they're buying your vision, your world. Know what you stand for, know what people come to you for, and then just say it loud. Brand is the soul, protect it like your life depends on it. Right, that was a wild ride. I'm off to buy some camping supplies. Wish me luck. I'll catch you here next time. If you love what you're hearing in this podcast, but you are still yet to start that rebel empire of your own, I've got something that might help. Head over to the show notes of this episode where you will find a free 7-step action plan to kickstarting your first side hustle. It's got pretty pictures, it's got activities. What more could you want, my loves? Get it downloaded, try it out, let me know how you get on.